What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Vasily Lomachencko. Vasily Lomachencko says this about Gervonta Tank Davis. He states he never fought top fighters. He needs to see his skills against the best. Wow. Vasily Lomachencko likes what he sees from Gervonta Tank Davis. He just wants to see him in situations where the stakes are much, much higher. The 3-division title is from the Ukraine, and current lightweight contender recently expounded on the puncher from Baltimore, praising on the one hand his ability in the ring, while on the other hand his relative lack of top competition, especially as it relates to the 135-pound division. Lomachenko, 34, pointed to Davis' unanimous decision over Isaac Cruz last December as a kind of litmus test. The 27-year-old Davis, which is now 27-0 and 25, has knocked out all but 2 of his opponents in his career. He is coming off a 6-round stoppage of Rolando Romero in May. And Lomachenko said, Isaac Cruz, before this fight, I never heard of him. I never knew about him. But now he deserves his place in the top fight. After the fight with Davis, Cruz showed how he can beat the top fighters. Davis has repeatedly hinted that he may be headed for a December fight with lightweight rival Ryan Garcia. The two have frequently traded barbs over social media and dropped plenty of suggestions that they are in talks to face each other. If that fight materializes, it would likely fall to some criticism that Davis, a popular draw, has cherry-picked over the years. Aside from Lomachenko and Garcia, the lightweight division is chock full of top talent, okay? But Lomachenko said this, but I don't see Davis with good opposition at 135. I've never seen it. He's a boxer who understands boxing and who knows what he needs to do in the ring, but people need to see his skills with other guys. He has very good power. He knows when he needs to use it, his big punch, and he keeps very good distance. But he's at the top. He's at the top. But again, I want to see him with a top boxer in our weight class. Those are the words of Vasily Lomachenko, and let me counterpunch. I think some of this explained by Lomachenko is general, and then I also see some of this coming from a personal experience that he had with that Baltimore fighter, Tank Davis. Let me explain. If you heard Lomachenko say, well, yeah, he has good power and he knows what he's doing, and he's at the top, that's general. But I don't see him with the competition. He's never faced good competition. I would like to see him face better opponents. That's him subliminally, personally calling out Gervonta Tank Davis. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Why do I say that? Because Lomachenko was a guy that called out Gervonta Tank Davis, what, about 3 or 4 years ago? Like, this shit was back in 18 when Floyd was hoarding fucking Gervonta Tank Davis, just like Oscar De La Hoya was protecting Canelo Alvarez in decisions. Like, all these guys had these, or Shelly Finkel protecting Deontay Wilder. See, all these guys had these type of interest in these fighters. They had these quote-unquote babies or projects as these fighters, and they never let these fighters bloom. They never let these fighters show their full potential. They just showcase these fighters and make them look really good against mediocre opposition. See, this is what happens always in the sport. 2 things will happen. One, when they start fighting someone that is on the level, you see the knockout stop, you see them struggle, you see them have a really good fight, they rise to the occasion, they show what they're really truly about, and they win the fight digging deep. Or 2, they get up there and they get wiped the fuck out. Why? Because they haven't fought and they haven't been prepared with these type of people that make them any good. If you're knowing you're just used to setting up the same old traps, the same combinations, the same athleticism, the same things you do over and over again, where you're in there with a fighter that doesn't know how to adapt, he doesn't know how to adjust, yes, you're going to look very good against those fighters. But if you got somebody that knows, okay, I see what he's doing. He's taking 2 steps. He waits for me to come in. He takes a step back and he counters me. He goes to the head or to the body. Okay, well, a lot of people will adjust to that on a certain level. And Lomachencko has been calling out Floyd so long, he knows the antics over there with Floyd and Gervonta. Floyd and Gervonta Tank Davis, okay, they had like somewhat of a kind of a bigger, older, bully, shitty brother and protecting a younger brother at times for getting in real fights. But the bigger brother wants the fame. He wants the limelight, and that's Floyd Mayweather. That's why he didn't want to put him in there with those fighters. But for one, he didn't think he was going to win. But for two, if he did win, he might suck up some of that popularity that Floyd was getting. You see what I mean? That is one of those things I think would always worry me about Floyd being a promoter, because Floyd won't know how to really extract or separate himself from being an entertainer versus a promoter to promote his particular fighter to be the entertainer. Okay, so I think with Lomachencko saying that, that's no different from me than Vladimir Klitschko saying about Deontay Wilder back in the day when he was saying like, hey, he needs to fight better people. You know, needless to say, another Ukrainian saying that about an American, right? Because that's exactly what Vladimir was saying about Deontay Wilder, where Deontay Wilder had like 30 fucking fights, 30 fucking knockouts, but you had nobody that you known of. The ranks were stupid. There are 156 in the world, 176 in the world, 168 in the world. Like guys we've never heard of. Guys that work part-time at a fucking library and just go to the gym 3 times a week, and then he get a fight with Deontay Wilder and he knocks their brains out because all this freakish power that everybody knows that he has. Okay, so that's all we've seen from Wilder. That's all we're really seeing from Gervonta Tank Davis. I think Gervonta Tank Davis is very talented, but I do agree with Vladimir Vasily Klitschko, because he is not fighting those guys, and Vitali knows that first-hand basis. He knows that they're not in there with the top guys because he's a top guy. He knows that because he's been calling out Gervonta Tank Davis and nothing has ever happened. So why wouldn't Lomachencko now say, you know what? He needs to fight better people. He just needs to fight better people because shit, he didn't fight me. You know, and I know I'm the top. Shit. I went from 130, then when I got to 135, they start calling me out because Floyd got mad at him. Right? And then he's at 135 now. Oh, oops, no, I'm not. I'm at 140 and all this shit. Okay, so people see that. People see that the opposition and the people that you're fighting, first of all, they were smaller fighters coming from 126, and by that time he was 130, 135. And Gervonta's dude, his name is Tank. What do you think that means? You think that means this guy don't know how to punch? That he ain't solid? He's a short, stocky, silent, very powerful person. Okay? Very, very powerful, very strong. And he will knock your head off. But we do want to see him apply that and use his time wisely, because you only have so much time in this game unless you just plan never to fight nobody on the level. If that's the case, just say that shit then. Because if you know you're not going to do that and you know somebody that you're with that's not going to allow you to do that, let's stop the bullshit. You know what I mean? Either he can do 2 things, Gervonta. He can say, I'm never going to fight anybody and I'm always a star because look at the gate numbers that I do and this, that, and the other. That's my niche. Or you can blast who won't allow you to fight the best and say, hey, they're the fucking reason. Not me, them. They're the reason why I can't get those fights that I need. So he has 2 options. You know, according or response to Vasily Lomachencko. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Lomachencko stating that Gervonta Tank Davis needs to raise the bar. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!